Hello and welcome to another daily devotion as we wrap up this week of the second week of Advent Peace. And in that second week of Advent Peace, we get a very unusual text from John the Baptist, one who doesn't feel very peaceable or tame when he is found preaching in the Jordanian desert. In those days, John the Baptist, we're in Matthew 3, by the way, 1 through 6. In those days, John the Baptist came, preaching in the wilderness of Judea and saying, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven has come near." This is he who was spoken of through the prophet Isaiah, a voice of one calling in the wilderness, "Prepare the way of the Lord, make straight paths for him." John's clothes were made of camel's hair, and he had a leather belt wrapped around his waist. His food was locusts and honey. People went out to him from Jerusalem and all Judea and the whole region of the Jordan, confessing their sins. They were baptized by him in the Jordan River. John the Baptist isn't the first person I would look to on the survey of Family Feud's top 4 prophets that I would think of as a prophet of peace. John is more of a firebrand, a truth teller, a truth dealer, if you will. He's bold, passionate, fiery. He is no holds bar, and we'll see that later or you'll hear about it in another devotion this week from Pastor Michelle as she tacks on the last 6 verses of Matthew 3, the brood of vipers. But I'm focusing on the first part where John is identifying himself as the herald of the one who is to come. And I love this idea of making the mountains low, straightening the crooked paths. And in this portion in Matthew's gospel, making a way for the Lord, straightening the paths for him, finding a way, an access point, a highway to God, a bridge to God. And I think of Christ in all of those ways as the facilitator in human form, flesh and blood. This is what God looks like in first century sandals. Here is what God looks like in human everyday life. This is what God hopes for us as humanity, to get through our thick skulls, that this is how we are to treat each other. This is how we are to find peace with each other. This is how we are to share and be generous and kind, how we are to forgive and deal with our enemies. Look to Jesus and you'll see exactly how God intends us to do those things. And so as I think about John's message and preparing a way, he's starting to pave the path for people to prepare this Advent season, preparing ourselves to be open to where God may need to do a little road work construction on our spiritual lives. Do we look like I-55 in the winter, or do we look like a newly paved road in the springtime that's just been redone? The good news is that construction happens throughout the entirety of our lives. We've never fully arrived. But the bad news is sometimes we let those roads go without maintenance for a long, long time. And John's saying, hey, this Advent season, it's included in the lectionary that we might take seriously, that God would like to have us to do some patchwork, some construction on our spirits. So will we be open to the movings of God's Spirit this Advent season, to the places that we've been reluctant to let God have, to find our peace, fullness of peace and life with Christ. Have a great Advent second week. We'll see you next time on Daily Devotions.